King Cyrus's fatherhood. At noon, Robert high, like only he could. The fables are bizarre but good. It's myth understood.
My Zeus, my Thor, my Freya, and my back.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Hey, thanks for joining another episode of Myth Understood with me, Paul Bianchi, and her, Sarah Oliver. Sarah, thank you for also singing that song at the beginning of this. That's one of my favorite songs.
Myth it now, myth it good.
A little unknown fact about me. Kia, favorite singer of all time.
I thought Peaches.
Oh, well, Peaches too. Yeah, love some dirty
Sucking on this
songstresses.
Loki like you. Like she is a maid because she was a woman for a while.
Yes. Sarah, you're getting ready to travel.
It's not your damn business.
Yeah. Well, it's like your first time traveling since things got wacky.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that feel?
I'm going to visit my dear friends Libby and Luis in Massachusetts.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to frolic in a forest. I'm going to hike through waterfalls. I'm going to eat a lot of carbs.
Oh, that's really exciting.
That feels great.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
That's cool.
My body's ready.
I am not traveling soon, but I'm doing some more work, which is exciting. More things are opening up. This is really going well.
This is good. No, things are slowly opening up, and we are both vaccinated. How did it feel getting your vaccination since we're on opposite teams?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
Pfizer.
I'm Team Pfizer. You're Team Moderna.
Mm-hmm.
I felt fine after the first shot.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was accompanied by fatigue and nausea.
Okay. Sounds regular.
Yeah. How about you?
First one, just like a punch in the arm, which is every day for me.
Oh, yeah. That was my joke about the first one, was that it felt like an entire basketball team said like a good game and punched me in the shoulder afterwards.
Yes, exactly. The second one had a little fever the next day, little wackadoodle, and then you were there at 9 p.m. I said, let's watch a movie and let's watch this zombie movie. Let's go. Let's party.
Yeah.
And we partied all night watching a zombie movie.
That's exactly
Judging
what
every step he took.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a Korean movie. It was called #Alive.
Yeah.
And it had good moments, and it also had some unusual character choice. Well, we have a fun story today.
Prove it.
And it's actually a story that after I read it, I wrote. So one of the things that goes extends pretty far into the past of Sarah and my friendship is that we both really enjoyed the character Stefan from SNL.
Yes.
Yeah, and Sarah has enjoyed it when I have done a Stefan impression.
Oh,
when
you're gonna
describing
give me one?
things.
You're gonna give me one?
Yeah, are you ready?
Oh,
but you have to ask the question at the end of it. Are you
Okay.
ready? Okay. So, ancient Egypt's hottest story is called Sinewy. Written on papyrus and the largest limestone ostracon in existence in 1875 BCE, this story has everything: cowardice, beheading, slavery, ancient racism, a blink and you miss her female character, things that definitely happened, milk, murder plots, wandering plot, burial plots, and, oh well, dadnesia.
What's dadnesia?
It's that thing where people definitely helped murder your dad, and then you forgot that people definitely helped murder your dad.
I've never heard of that.
I have to close the door because
We're
the
good.
wind just blew it open at the end of that.
That was haunted.
Behind them.
It was
Oh.
very haunted.
Hard enough. So yeah, this is the story of Sinewy.
Then you're gonna do the Stefan impression the entire episode.
No,
That's what I'm
it
hearing.
ends with the description of it. But be on the lookout for milk.
So you're gonna do the wild and crazy guys impression the entire
Yeah.
episode.
So this really is, though, even though I said ancient Egypt's hottest story, like, it is kind of known as like one of the most popular stories of ancient Egypt.
Hell yeah.
So
I want to be in the know.
yeah, let's
I
figure
like
out
the good goss.
who this Sinewy character is, and that is Sinuhe, Sinuhe,
Oh,
not sinewy like
yeah.
the adjective.
I thought that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Sinuhe.
Sinuhe.
Okay.
So we start with Pharaoh Amenemhet, the same pharaoh that loved Snake Island, that story so much.
Yeah.
And in spite of all that he had done to unite Egypt and bring peace and prosperity after years of civil war, he was in constant danger from plots to murder him.
Well, maybe because he was feeding storytellers to lions, or what was he doing?
Oh yeah, if they displeased him, he would throw them to
yeah, I could
dogs.
see the cons there.
Mhm. And these murder plots were hatched by like one great lord or another who wished to seize his throne within his court, because there were, as
That chair looks so comfy.
no, he won't let anyone else sit in a nice
we have
chair.
to sit on these IKEA chairs.
Ancient Egyptians did invent IKEA. That's
yeah, of course.
So the pharaoh, fearing one of these plots might be successful, and knowing that if one of these lords took the throne, it would plunge Egypt into civil war again. So Amenemhet.
Ugh, you guys need me so much. My living is really important.
Yeah. Amenemhet promoted his son Senusert to be his viceroy and co-rule with him.
Oh, that's kind of cute. You never hear about a father-son duo.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Well, here it is. Amenemhet and Senusert, father and son, rulers.
Oh, and then they put their backs to each other and they cross their arms.
Yeah.
Little side cap.
So that he would be, this was so that Senusert would be ready to step in place immediately after he was murdered.
Okay, another unpaid internship.
Mm-hmm. And he also believed that his son would be able to put down any rising or rebellion that might break out.
Oh, that's a lot. My dad expects a lot out of me.
And that's exactly what came to pass 10 years later when Amenemhet was in fact murdered as a result of a conspiracy in the palace.
Wow.
Yep. So saw it coming.
He did see it coming. How old is his son at this point? Because I'm assuming he started training him at 3.
Yeah, he's like 19.
Okay.
Senusert wasn't at home at this time. He was leading an army against Temeh.
You're going down, Temeh.
That is Temeh in Libya.
Temeh.
Temeh. And he had defeated the enemy and was returning to Egypt with a whole lot of treasure and shiny new slaves.
Oh, no.
When messengers arrived by night, bearing important news for the prince. Among Senusert's chosen bodyguard of royal companions was a young warrior called Sinuhe.
You made it sound like those are his boyfriends.
Why?
Because you quotationed royal companions.
Oh, just like what they called their bodyguard. But
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you put it that way, like royal companion sounds like it's an escort service.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of hot guys. Carry me around. I'm into it.
It's phrased that Sinewy knew more than he should about the plot against Amenemhet.
This is one of the royal boyfriends, or
yeah, the star
okay.
of the story, one of the royal
one
boyfriends.
of the escorts. Okay.
Uh-huh. And when I read that, I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, what could that mean? More than he should about the plot against Amenemhet.
So they're just saying like, your father is dead. Oh no, your father got decapitated.
A little bit,
Okay.
yeah. At the very least, he knew something was being plotted, and he said nothing, which is
Ooh.
pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, at most...
Unless he made a pinky promise to somebody else.
Oh,
What
then
are you
it's
gonna
okay.
do? What are you gonna do?
Oh, shoot. Got me with the pinky promise.
Come on with the pinky promise.
So when he saw the messengers, Sinewy guessed that they must have tidings of what happened in Thebes, and he crept silently up to the back of the royal pavilion, and he stood there as if on guard, but really it was to eavesdrop.
Okay, this is a gay escort service.
He put... Why? Why is that?
He's into the hot goss.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he took his dagger and he made a slit in the material where it was stretched over one of the posts so that he could hear everything that was said inside.
Mm-hmm.
And made a little glory hole and listened. It's getting intense now. So Sinewy heard the messengers telling Sen Usert of his father's death and that he was now pharaoh. And they said, "You must ride for Thebes at once. Do not tell the army what has happened, but set out immediately with only your sexy royal companions." Only the sexiest ones, too.
Sinewy's just oiling up.
Other messengers have gone to your faithful governors throughout Egypt, commanding them to hide the news of Pharaoh Amenhotep from the people until you, the new Pharaoh, Senusert, life, health, and strength be to you, is proclaimed in Thebes. I noticed that was said on the last myth, too, with Snake Island. Life, health, and strength be to you. It's
Just like a B12 shot.
Yeah, I think so. It's a little...
Those fancy IVs rich kids get after they party.
Yeah. When Sinewy heard this, he became scared. If he went back with Senusert and the royal companions, his part, and that's another thing that it says, his part in the plot to murder Amenhotep might be discovered.
Wait, the son?
Sinewy.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Remember, because it said that he knew
too much.
He knew too much,
Okay.
and now it's saying his part.
So now we know too much.
Like he played an active part in the death of.
Oh shit! He's worried the
Senusert.
tea will be spilled.
Mm-hmm. And and if asked to remain, like if he was like, okay, well, I'm just going to ask to remain here with the army. I'm not that sexy, guys. I don't need to go.
Look at his little pooch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make you look stupid.
If he asked to remain with the army, he might be suspected, and Senusert would certainly realize that he had been spying and overheard the secret news.
Well, that's a leap.
Why is that a leap?
If you're just like, I'm tired, I don't want to go.
Well, because the royal companions would never say no to the future pharaoh.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you're being paid.
And why would you want to stay at war? You'd be like, no, I want to go home. That sounds great.
This is so fun.
Yeah. I'm not done killing.
Yeah, let me kill 10 more guys. I'll meet up with you guys there. Save me a spot at brunch. So
Sinewy was seized with such a panic that he slipped quietly out of the camp.
He's such a drama queen.
What was so the other day Sarah and I we watched a video by Jamie French who does she does makeup videos while she's putting on makeup, and she also talks about a terrible movie that she just watched,
which we love.
And it was this movie called Rigoletto.
Oh yeah.
And there was a part where a woman's daughter got taken, and she gives this dramatic performance where she like turns her head from side to side and says, "My daughter, my girl, my girl," and then just like turns very suddenly and just goes like, "We must find her." It's just like the best performance.
This is Sinewy.
That's how he is. Yeah. So he slipped quietly out of camp, and he waited until he saw which way the army was marching from like behind a sand dune. And then he crept down and made his way south along the edge of the desert, trying to avoid all the towns and even the villages. When he came to where the Nile begins to branch out into the many streams of the delta,
this motherfucker just going AWOL?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was in, again, this is, the turn that the story takes is so surprising to me.
Ooh.
The streams of the delta, he was like, in that part, it's like a very open plain. He's even more danger of being seen. The only man who he met turned and fled, thinking he was a bandit.
So he's dirty right now.
I read that line.
No showers.
I read that line, though, and I was like, I don't know why that detail's important, because that man is never seen again.
Yeah.
I was thinking, though, that if this was a Marvel movie, that would have been Stan Lee's cameo. It would have been like, oh, no, a bandit. Oh, that's a terrible Stan Lee.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, he's raspy. That's all I got.
Well, he's dead.
Well, that too. Excelsior. Anyway, he arrived in the evening to a district of islands and high reeds, which must have been somewhere near where the modern day city of Cairo now stands.
So a swamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
let's call a swamp a swamp.
He found an old boat on the coast without oars or a rudder.
This is Assassin's Creed. This is a video game.
This is the beginning. Yeah, always with that.
He's sneaking in the grass.
Uh-huh. Always,
Okay.
and you played this Ancient Egypt
I
Assassin's
did.
Creed. Yeah. Did it begin with a murder plot that you were part of?
That my son died.
No.
My boy.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler if you play the very first 30 seconds of the game.
So he decides to get in the boat, even though he has no oars or rudder, and he knows the wind is blowing from the west, and so
he puts his big cape out, his sparkly, glittery cape, and he catches the wind.
Yeah, he is dressed fancy. He's one of the royal companions. So
I love it.
He's wearing a bow tie, little short shorts, and a big sparkly cape.
And at this point, maybe like a wig because he's in disguise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he drifted downstream towards Heliopolis, but came to the eastern bank of the Nile, like a mile outside of town. He continued along this way.
Why is he even going back at all if he went AWOL?
He's not.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Yeah, he's crossing the river, and he's
going to a new place.
He's journeying east.
Okay.
He crosses the Isthmus of Suez near the Bitter Lakes, and stealing by night across the frontier into the desert of Sinai. Here, he nearly died of thirst.
Yeah.
And
shit.
indeed had given up all hope. And just like laying on the ground in his sparkly cape and sweating beneath his wig, refusing to take it off.
Of course, if I'm going down, I'm going to look great.
And he thought that he would never rise again when he heard the lowing of cattle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which is a new use of that word for me, but I think that the lowing of cattle is just the sound.
Moo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Creeping on his hands and knees, so weak as he was, Sinewy came to a camp of Asiatic nomads. The sheik of this tribe recognized him as an Egyptian and guessed by his appearance that he's a man of importance.
I've never seen so many sparkles.
That
What a bedazzled man.
that beehive wig. Beautiful. So he tended to him carefully, took him to a tent, bound him tightly to a cot,
Excuse me?
and fed him with what?
Cow milk, I hope.
You hope? Okay, you were right. It was with milk and with honey until he was strong enough to take more solid food.
Okay.
Why is that okay?
There's a lot of nutrients in milk.
Yeah, but he's in the hot desert drinking hot milk.
I mean, there is water in milk, right?
Yeah, but okay, I guess
Look, it could have been grosser, all right?
I guess when I read this, I thought of an ancient torture.
Like
Oh.
a milk waterboarding?
Kinda, yes. Have you ever heard of scaphism?
Not yet.
So scaphism was allegedly an ancient Persian method of torture and execution. It entailed trapping a victim between two boats, feeding them only milk and honey.
Trapping him between two boats.
Yeah, like pushing two boats against each other, like against their chest.
Wait,
So they're
what?
that they're dangling above the water.
It's a lot of work.
Well, like you can imagine at port, like these boats are all very close to each other. And so, yeah, someone's bound between the two boats that are parked very close to each other.
Why is only having milk and honey bad?
It's not.
I guess maybe if they're lactose.
It's not the nutrients that you need to live, Sarah.
I've seen posters that suggest otherwise from the 90s.
If you don't die from shitting to death,
Which I will, and you will.
your whole body begins to fester and attract insects that devour you.
What?
Yeah, that's scaphism.
Well, it worked this time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Apparently, milk and honey was the best medicine for Sinewy, and he thanks the sheik
It's a Starbucks drink.
and continues on. It's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. After this, Sinewy came without further adventures to the ancient city of Byblos in Syria, where Egyptians had always been welcome since the great temple had been built on the spot where Isis found the body of Osiris in the column of King Malkander's palace. Do you remember that?
I remember her zombieing her man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, she found him and she took the pillar back. He dwelt there for some time and then journeyed further east to the great valley beyond Lebanon range where King Ami Enshi ruled the land, which was then called Retinue,
What? Like, why in this whole time that he's sneaking around is he not grabbing a fucking camel?
That's takes work.
This takes more work.
Emmy and she welcomed him, saying, "Come and dwell in my country. I have other men of Egypt who serve me, and you will at least hear your native language in this place.
I'm not from Transylvania.
Well, he is. Moreover, it seems to me that you must have been a man of some importance in Egypt with your fancy wardrobe. Therefore, tell me, why have you left your home? What news is there from the court of the pharaoh?" And then Sinewy said, Pharaoh Amenemhet has departed to dwell beyond the horizon.
That's a nice way of saying it.
He has been taken up to the palace of the gods. I fled, fearing civil war in Egypt and danger to those who had been near the pharaoh. I left Egypt for no other reason but this.
And don't even ask.
I was faithful to the pharaoh, and no evil was ever spoken against me.
Ooh, thou dost protest?
Yet I think that some god must have guided me and led me hither. And then Amenenshi says, I have had news from Egypt since you left it. The new pharaoh, Sen-Usert, is the son of Amenemhet. He has taken his place upon the throne of the two lands. He has set the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt upon his head. His hands hold the scourge and the crook. There has been no rebellion yet in Egypt, but do you think war will come?
He's just like flipping through a People magazine. I know all about what's going on.
He's dating Demi Lovato. So Sinewy realized that Ami Eshni was asking him, actually, in this question, his advice on whether or not it was safe to rebel against the rule of Egypt and to seek to make sure Retinue was an independent country outside of the Egyptian empire. And Sinewy is like, well, I don't really want that because I'm an Egyptian man living in Retinue. And if they have this rebellion and become an independent country, then all of a sudden, like, being an Egyptian man in this country would lose any importance. I would probably be stripped of any title I have.
I don't want to be regular.
Yeah, I don't want to be a commoner. Thank you. So he says, if Senusert is now pharaoh and all in Egypt are in good faith to him, there will be no danger of rebellion or civil war. In fact, you should let him know of your loyalty, for he will not fail to do good that all lands are true to him. Send your messengers to kiss the ground before his feet.
Send your hottest men.
And King Ami Eshni replied, "Oh, how happy must Egypt be under so strong and great a pharaoh. I will do even as you advise. But as for you, stay here with me and command my armies. I will make you great."
Oh, make me great again.
He puts a red hat on his head. So Sinewy prospered in the land of Retinue. He married the eldest daughter of the king and was given a palace to dwell in. That's
I've never been this nice to some dirty stranger that rolled up in my front lawn.
In a wig, Sarah.
Okay, yes, I have.
He was given a palace to dwell in, an estate where all good things grew in abundance. There were groves of fig trees and vineyards where grapes grew so thickly that wine was more plentiful than water.
The end.
There were rich fields of barley and wheat and pastures where the cattle grew very fat. So fat that they couldn't even walk anymore. Never did Sinewy know any shortage of roast meats, neither beef or chickens from these lands. And Sinewy did all of this not for nothing, because as commander of Ami and Eshni's army, he made war on neighboring tribes and peoples who tried to invade Retinue from the north and the east. And in every venture, he was successful.
Wow.
He slayed the enemy with his strong arm and unerring arrows.
Slay, 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 queen.
Carrying off inhabitants as slaves and bringing back great droves of cattle to swell the royal herds. Now, this is the part of the story remember when I had my impression and I said things that definitely happened?
Yeah.
This is a story that happens to Sinewy in this other land and is written about in Egypt. So if this is a story that's making Sinewy sound really cool, it's doing a really good job now, right?
Yeah.
Like he never failed in battle.
He's thriving.
Yeah. King Ami Eshni grew to love him as if he were his son and planned to make him next in succession to the throne by right of his wife, the Princess Royale.
I'm a royal named Royale.
And that's not her name. I think it's just her title.
Oh.
Like the one that the princess who's the oldest princess, basically.
Okay.
It seems that either the king.
This old bitch is 19.
It seems 14. It seems that either the king of retinue had no sons, or else the throne was descended in the female line. But that's all we hear about her. Remember, a blink and you miss her female character. Yeah. Not all the people of retinue were pleased with the idea of being ruled in the days to come by a foreigner, and there was murmur of a rebellion headed by a certain champion who was the strongest man and most famous warrior in the country, whom no one was able to stand in battle. He has no name. What's his name?
He's the most famous not named person in the country.
Yeah, he's not important. Remember, this is all, at this point of the story, this is all hearsay from Sinewy. So, like, he's like, he was the most famous, but don't look him up. What?
Tyson.
When King Amiashni heard of this, he was troubled at heart and sent for Sinewy, saying to him, "Do you know this man? Have you any secret that he was discovered?" And Sinewy...
Now you're Tommy Wiseauing.
Yeah.
Tell me your secrets.
Why, Lisa? And Sinewy answered, "My lord, I have never seen him. I have never entered his house. He comes at me out of sheer jealousy."
Okay, again.
Protesting too much.
Yes, I've never been in his house. I've never seen his penis.
I've never been in his bathtub. I've never used all of his bubble bath. I don't even like the scent of lavender. He comes against me out of jealousy, and if it pleases you, I will meet him in battle. For either he is a braggart who wishes to seize both my property and my power, or else he is like a wild bull who wishes to gore the tame bull and add cows to his own herd, or he is simply like a bull who can bear no other bull to be stronger or fiercer than himself.
How can you like this guy? How can this king think this is a smart dude?
As Sinewy is like struggling to come up with his bull metaphor.
Yeah.
So the duel was arranged, and
the bull duel.
The bull duel. And it was to take place before a great gathering of the people of retinue.
And he just comes out and says, "Try to get these cows pregnant now."
All night, Sinewy practiced with his weapons, testing his bow and sharpening his javelins. At daybreak, he came to the field of battle, and the people applauded him, crying, "Oh, can there be any fighting man greater than Sinewy?" But then the champion came.
Chanting it? So they say it over and over. Can there be any greater than Sinewy?
Yep. But when the champion came striding out from his followers, Tyson, they fell silent, for he was a mighty man indeed. And he began the battle, shooting at Sinewy with his arrows and hurling his javelins, and Sinewy died at the end. No, Sinewy was quick of foot and quick of eye, and dodged all of them or turned them harmlessly away with his shield. Then he made ready for the champion, who came rushing at him with a mighty battle axe above his head. Sinewy shot an arrow, and the champion turned it with his shield, but then Sinewy hurled a javelin so swiftly that the champion had no time to ward it off and was struck in the neck by it. He stumbled and fell upon his face, which made that javelin just like shoot out the other side of his neck like
fatality.
A Mortal Kombat fatality. The battle axe flew out of his hand, and just like a Mortal Kombat fatality,
he cut his own head in half?
His own. No, the battle axe flew out of Tyson's hand. Sinewy grabs it and runs over and chops off his rival's head in a single blow.
Wow.
And that's why I say just like a Mortal Kombat fatality, because sometimes they land like what is clearly a killing blow, and then they still like
they keep living.
They kill them more.
Yeah, exactly.
All the people then, like, as like blood is like spraying into the crowd,
into their mouths,
the people are open mouthed, just like cheering for him. And the king ran up to him and caught him in his arms and embraced him and kissed his neck and said,
"Okay,
surely here is the worthiest man in all land to rule with me." So Sinewy became the greatest lord in retinue after Amenenshi and ruled the land with him for many years until he became king when Amenenshi died under mysterious circumstances.
Oh shit! Does this say that?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But given Sinewy's track record,
exactly.
Once a murder plotter.
Yep.
And when he grew old, Sinewy began to long for his own land, and a great desire came upon him to see Egypt once more before he died.
I miss the stage. I miss the lights.
He would have dreams of being oiled up and dancing.
Yeah.
Being laid to rest in a rock tomb at Thebes. So Pharaoh Senusert knew that the new king of retinue was that Sinewy who had been his royal companion in the days of Amenemhet, and had sent letters to him as a loyal subject, and Sinewy had replied as a loyal subject should.
Okay, so they've been texting.
Mm-hmm. So now he wrote begging to be forgiven for leaving the royal service at the time of uncertainty after Amenemhet's death, and asking if he might return to Egypt to spend his old age there. Senusert wrote back at once, bidding him to come to dwell in the royal palace as a great lord and trusted advisor.
Come hang out.
It said, "Return to Egypt and look again upon the land where you were born and the palace where you served me so faithfully in the days before Osiris took to himself my father, the good god Amenemhet, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances. You are now growing old. You are no longer a young man bent upon adventures, but I hope you still look hot. Look forward to the day of your burial. Do not let death come upon you far away among the Asiatics. Dwell with me in Egypt. When that day comes, you shall be laid to rest in the western Thebes, in a mummy case rich with gold, with your face laid upon it in lapis lazuli. A sledge drawn by oxen shall bring you to your tomb, where the singers will go in front and the dancers will follow behind until you come to the door of your crypt. That shall be made for you in the midst of the royal tombs where princes and viziers lie. The walls shall be painted with all the wisdom of the dead, so that your Ba shall pass safely into the Duat, and the rich treasures and plentiful offerings shall set your tomb, so that your Ka may feast upon them when the day comes, when Osiris shall return to the earth. Come quickly, for you grow old, and you don't know when some sickness might smite you down where you stand." It's not right that a noble of Egypt should be laid in the earth, wrapping in the sheepskin like a mere Asiatic. Ancient racism.
Yeah, yikes.
Come quickly, for you have roamed too long.
Okay, a simple yes would have sufficed.
Sinewy rejoiced when he received the letter. He turned around and was like, "Yes, in your face, queen I never learned the name of." He made his arrangements to hand over the rule of retinue and all his possessions to his eldest son, no name, Tom. And then he set out for Egypt, attended by a small party of his chosen followers. When he reached the borders of Egypt, he was met by an embassy, didn't take his wife.
Shit.
When he reached the borders of Egypt, he was met by an embassy from Pharaoh, who welcomed him warmly and made much of the lords of retinue
You want some milk?
who had come with him. At the Nile, a ship was waiting for him, and Sinewy was brought up the river in great state and comfort to the palace of the Pharaoh. And when he was led to the presence of the Pharaoh, he did a wacky uncle thing, and he fell to the ground in front of the throne and laid as if he was dead, and everyone laughed.
Wait, what? He Willy Wonka'd?
Yeah.
For no reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of that because he was over dramatic.
Yeah.
And everyone liked him, and he was just sort of oh, I made it all this way, and now I'm dead. Then Pharaoh Usert said kindly, "Lift him up and let him speak. Oh, Sinewy, you cad. Sinewy, you have arrived at your home, and you have ceased the wander in foreign lands. Come back in honorable old age, so that you can die here. Be rested in a fine tomb in western Thebes, and not thrust into the ground by Asiatic barbarians." See?
I had a nice time there.
"I greet you by name. Welcome, Sinewy." Then Sinewy rose and stood before Senusert with downcast eyes and said, "Behold, I stand before you, and my life is yours to do with as you will." And he dropped
So is my body.
dropped all of his clothes.
Yeah.
Pharaoh stepped down from his throne and took Sinewy by his hand. He led him to the queen and said to her laughingly, "See here? Here is Sinewy, dressed like a wild Asiatic of the desert."
Oh, shit.
Then the royal children came to greet him, and the Pharaoh uttered his decree. "I make Sinewy a companion of the Pharaoh, a great lord of the court. I give him such lands and riches to become such as one, those that he fortified when he fled from Egypt long ago, when he had definitely had no part in murdering my father.
Wow.
And more than he lost to welcome him on his return and show him how happy we are to have him with us once more.
This is like what happens when you move to Florida as a snowbird.
Is this exactly what happens?
This is exactly what happens.
Wow. And so, Sinewy became a great man in Egypt and a close friend of the pharaoh from whom he had fled in a moment of panic. He gave lavish care to the carving and decoration of his tomb. He was just really
what a fun project.
obsessed with his future
in
death.
my golden years.
And caused the story of his adventures to be written all over it and also be copied and kept in archives. And when he died, he was laid to rest with honor. And though his tomb was never found, the account of his adventures were rewritten on many times on papyrus and on aforementioned the largest limestone ostracon in existence. An ostracon is a broken piece of pottery or a broken piece of stone.
I know.
It's
obviously.
it's this particular one is in the Museum of Egyptian History and it's a yard long.
So this story is good enough to be written down a bunch?
Yeah,
I disagree.
And read for hundreds of years after his death.
There's no lesson here.
What's the lesson? There is a lesson.
Lie, 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 run away, lie, lie.
Yeah. Also, I think you might have been onto something for the Senusert and Sinewy might have been fucking.
Oh, they have to be.
Like, why would he welcome back with such warm regards? And maybe Senusert was really okay with his dad being killed.
Oh, it sounds like it. He's like, oh, do I have to go back because I'm king? Ugh.
Yeah.
Rats.
Yeah. So that's the story. This is this is ancient Egypt's hottest story.
I think it also shows that they are exes because they had such an awkward reacquaintance. Like, you know how you think you're gonna play it smooth, but then you get weird,
and then you fall over and pretend you're dead.
Anyway, how you been?
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, this is your wife and kids. We probably shouldn't have taken hands and embraced in front of them the way we did.
I'm the pharaoh. I
Yeah.
can do what I want and who I want.
That's true. Yeah.
And you want some honey? Honey?
Yeah. Milk and honey. We gon' shit.
Guys, just go to Starbucks and ask for it. It's there.
I don't think it's there, Sarah.
It's there.
Anyway, so what'd you learn?
Absolutely nothing. There's no moral to any story that you tell me.
No, not since Aesop.
Exactly. And those are pretty shaky.
Yeah, Aesop's moral. The moral is always like, don't complain so much.
Or everyone's inherently bad. Get used to it.
Yeah, that too.
I guess this is time heals all wounds.
Is that? Ooh, that's an okay one.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
High praise from you.
Well, yeah, I guess because like time makes you forget that your dad was murdered.
Time gives you dadnesia.
Yeah, dadnesia.
Yeah. I am curious if there's any more info on what his part was, but I guess you would have told me.
Yeah, no, it's really vague, and kind of like
It's like maybe he just retweeted something.
Well, I think of this as like the story of Sinewy, where he is protecting himself at all costs, all the time. That's this entire story.
He's running away from things.
Yeah,
I guess that's protection.
And so he leaves, and then he comes back, and he tells. This is like before there was like mass communication. So he returns from retinue. Maybe his son was like, get out of here. And returns with like this like big story of how beloved he was in this other land, and how he was like, oh yeah, I knew a little bit that your dad was going to be killed, but I was scared.
Yeah,
like,
it was spooky.
It was, yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that information?
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think it's all like,
I thought you'd look cute in a 2 crowns.
It was all presented with himself in the best light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old do you think he is when he comes back? Like 42?
Yeah.
I'm ready to die.
Uh-huh. Yeah. The
All I eat, drink is milk.
42, he's got like a month left.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Great. Well, yeah, that's another story that just nothing, there's no arc. Nothing's learned.
You loved it though.
I loved it.
Uh-huh.
I loved it. I loved the Tommy Wiseau King.
Yeah.
Uh,
Amineshi.
Amineshi.
Mhm.
He's beautiful. Do 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 do.
Hey, are you looking for the sexiest royal companions in all of Egypt?
Ooh.
We've got everything you're looking for at Royal Companions Escort Service.
Are they hot?
Oh, they're the hottest. They will wear the littlest outfits and oil up their sexy bodies.
Do they have wigs?
Oh, they will wear every wig that you want them to wear and less.
Can they keep secrets?
They will flee in terror at the mention of a secret.
Call 1-888.
Sexy royal companions. There we go.
Quick, concise, gets to the point.
Yeah,
I'd do it.
Mhm.
How much do they cost?
They cost
One father.
yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Just-
I'll take it.
well, Sarah, thanks for joining me for this latest of Egyptian myths.
Yeah, whatever.
I so enjoy having you here with
Here?
me.
At Jake's house?
Here at Jake's house. This is where I wish I could keep you always, in a little cage next to Campfire, the pod dog.
Oh, I'd love that.
Well, if you enjoyed today's podcast, unlike Sarah, be sure to continue to follow us on social media. You can find us at _mythunderstood. You can find Sarah at the Sarah Oliver. You can find me at the Paul Bianchi. You can check us out on www.mythunderstoodpodcast.com, which is also a place where you can find our merchandise, including a beautiful shirt.
Spatula.
What? A beautiful spatula? You cannot find spatulas there.
Why don't we have spatulas?
I don't think that's an
The people
item.
have been asking.
No, people have not been asking for misunderstood spatulas.
Oh.
But you can find masks, you can find shirts, you can find mugs, and you can also check us out on Discord.
Where they demand spatulas.
I have not heard them demand spatulas. Where's this coming from, Sarah?
My ear.
Okay. Yeah. Continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Only nicely.
And it will help people find this podcast, and you'll have more people to talk about it with on Discord.
Yep. And we love you guys. Night night.
Night night.
Hey there, my name is Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris.
Chris, what?
Yeah, I'm not saying it.
Come on, man, say it. It's so cool.
I'm Chris 183.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah, anyways, Steve and I are both 30-something dads.
Super awesome 30-something dads, and we love to nerd out over the power-chorded glory that was 90s and early 2000s pop-punk music.
And at one point, we bled Blink-182 and Yellow Card, even if nowadays we're mostly Baby Shark.
Baby Shark, do-do-do-do-do. Baby Shark rocks.
Fair enough.
Join us on High School Never Ends, the pop-punk dad podcast where we'll discuss, debate, and revel in a music genre that we feel deserves much more love.
At least once we get the kids to bed.
Right. That's High School Never Ends at hsnepod.com, at hsnepod on Twitter and Instagram and wherever podcasts are found.
It's Dragon Wagon.